Hello everyone! Thank you so much for joining me today for this speed painting video. In today's video, I am painting a witch made completely out of ink for Inktober. So I'm using Dr. P.H. Martin's India inks and also a white Sakura Gelly roll pen. To start this piece out, I used a prismacolor colerase colored pencil in carmine red to create this sketch. And right now you can see me blocking in the colors for the hat, specifically the purple, which I am going to use the same color purple for her lips as well. So this has to be one of my favorite things to do as far as painting goes. I love creating galaxy hair. So what I did to create this galaxy hair was I used one color, and this color is turquoise in the Bombay India inks, and I watered it down and I created 3 different shades with it. I created a really pale blue shade, and then a medium turquoise shade, and then just the straight ink. And so that is what gave me the different levels of brightness that I could use within the galaxies in her hair. When I was drawing out the sketch for this piece, I originally had in mind that the snake wrapped around her arm would be like an armlet, you know, some type of jewelry or decoration in that way. But then when I was looking at my color wheel and I was trying to decide on my color scheme for this piece, I was like, oh, I really want to use green, and I didn't want to use a different color, some random color just for the arm bracelet or whatever. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just make him a real snake, and I'll just have it green so that I can have green in this part of the painting as well. So that's how that little guy came about. And I don't know if you noticed, but I just went over a second layer in the hair to deepen the dark colors of the galaxies. The way that I approach creating skin tones in my characters is that I use the base skin tone, which for me in this piece is brown, just straight brown, and I water it down to whatever shade that I want, and to create shadows and blush in the skin, I use different colors, and the first building up of shadows is used with the same base color. So I go back over it a couple more times with that same color to create the first hints of shadows. On this piece, the shading for the green is done using the turquoise color that I used for her hair, and the shading on the purple is done using blue ink. To build up more shadows and to create the blush in her skin, the color that I used was bright red, and I watered it down, and I am going to be using that all over her skin just to kind of give her more life. And once I finish building up the layers of red and getting it to the level of darkness that I would like, then I am going to go back with a watered down turquoise or whatever color just so happens to be complementary or that I'm using in the piece. So for this, I am using the same turquoise that I used for her hair, watered down, for the cooler shadows. So I use the watered down turquoise, and I go back for the places that I want to have deeper shadows, and that tones down the red and brings it back to being a more realistic color. Now I am going back in with white ink to create highlights. This is definitely my favorite part of creating skin tones because it really creates that other dimension and really brings it out, brings their faces out and their features, and makes everything look more realistic. Here you can see that I am building up layers with the white ink, trying to bring out whatever features need to be highlighted. Right now I am using the white ink to highlight around the nostril and then on certain places around the edge of her face so that it brings her out from her hair and kind of highlights and makes it so that you can see those features against the darker colors. So that's another thing that makes her appear more three-dimensional. So the white highlight on her lip was a little bit too strong, and I had to go back and tone that down and add other highlights on her bottom lip and on the top as well. Now I am adding highlights to her eyes, and usually I add just 1 or 2 highlights, and here I'm going back to darken the pupil and then refresh that highlight. I add eyelashes using my Pentel pocket brush pen, and I go back with white ink to add highlights on top of those lashes, especially the lashes that are showing past the profile of her face, that are like over the hair. So I definitely have to add highlights on those ones so that you can see them against the darker colors. Now I am using my white ink to add highlights to her eyebrows and to do one of my favorite parts of the painting process, and that is to add stars into the galaxies in her hair. So I am using my Aquash water brush, the fine point tipped one, and my white ink to add the larger stars into her hair. So right now I am adding the finishing touches onto her hat, and those are adding highlights around the brim of her hat and around the holes that are in her hat so that you can actually see them against the darker colors. I also really enjoyed working on the snake that's wrapped around her arm. Adding the highlights was a lot of fun and making him look sparkly. I love making like sparkly outfits or objects, so that was a lot of fun. I am going back through now and adding final touches to my character. So that is just going around and seeing what highlights need to be put where, and I am adding highlights around the edges of the hair for the same reason that I did to her face, to make it so that you can really see her hair a lot better, and to kind of bring it forward and make it seem more three-dimensional. And now I am finally going in with my Sakura Gelly Roll white pen to add these smaller stars into her hair. And I'm doing this remembering to clump some closer together and leave some open areas as well. For the background of this piece, I decided to go with a watercolory type effect, and so I used the bright red color that was used for the blush in her skin. That same color is what I used to create that watercolory effect in the background, and then go back through and use the ink pure to create the sparkles and little stars. And that is the completed process. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you enjoyed watching my artistic process for this painting, and I am very happy with how this one turned out. If you like this video, then please let me know by hitting the thumbs up button down below. And if you have any comments for me or anything that you would like to say about this piece, please go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section. I love hearing from you, and I definitely want to hear your opinions. And if you really like this video, then please feel free to share it with any of your family and friends that you think might also enjoy this video. If you would like to see any more of my artwork, then I suggest that you head on over to either my Instagram page or my Facebook page to see regular updates on a daily basis by me. You can find me at Sarah McHale Art across all platforms. Also, if you want to make sure that you don't miss any upcoming videos by me, then please feel free to hit the subscribe button either down below or head on over to my channel's homepage and hit the subscribe button there. Well, that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for joining me once again today. I hope that you enjoyed this process, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!